A.J. Howard played football at App State, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, became a scout with the Patriots, became an assistant coach with App State, and now he's going from Boone to L.A. as an assistant coach on Southern Cal's football staff. We will unpack his journey next. Welcome to the Unpacking It podcast, where we unpack sports, faith, and life with intriguing guests from the sports and entertainment world. Today's guest is A.J. Howard. He's a Super Bowl winner, and he's a current assistant coach at USC. He's a former App State player, former App State coach. So excited to have a fellow Mountaineer on the show today, and we're going to talk all about his faith journey, and he's coming back on the show. We actually had him on about 6 years ago, right after the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and he was a part of that team and that journey, and so we are going to catch up with him. It's going to be a lot of fun. So excited about that. Before we jump in, did want to remind you that the new sports devotional is out. And so this is the NFL Pro Football Edition, 32 teams, 32 lessons for life. You can go to thesportsdevotional.com and check that out. Appreciate the support there. And then also, it's the summer. Have you prepared for your fantasy season? Is your draft set? Are your teams or your leagues being put together? Well, we encourage you to incorporate Fantasy Football Fellowship, whatever league you have. However long you've had a league, or if you're starting up a league, incorporate Fantasy Football Fellowship. We've got all the content for you to make more of your fantasy season. So go to fantasyfootballfellowship.com and play fantasy football with purpose, fantasyfootballfellowship.com. Thanks, everybody, watching and listening today. We appreciate when you like and share and rate, review. Always a big help to us. I also want to thank our sponsor as we continue this summer interview series presented by Upward Sports. And this is sort of our last interview here in June. And then in July, we will be producing the Fantasy Football Fellowship podcast once again. And so we'll bring that back in early July, and we'll have that available to you all July. And we have our movie series as well. So our summer sports movie series is coming up in July. So we got a lot of podcasts for you in July as you're chilling, hanging out by the pool and maybe the lake, the ocean. We've got some podcasts for you. So be on the lookout for that. But today, it's A.J. Howard. He is a current coach with USC, but he played strong safety at Appalachian State from 2014 to 2017. He was a captain, won 3 bowl games, 2 conference championships, and he enters his first season as a defensive analyst and assistant linebackers coach at USC. Previously, AJ was the outside linebackers coach at App State from 2023 to 2024. He was named to the under 35 class for 2024 from the American Football Coaches Association. He also spent 2 years in the NFL as a player with the Cardinals, Giants, and Patriots, and won a Super Bowl ring as a member of the Patriots in 2019. Howard spent 2021 and 2022 as a Southeast area scout for the Patriots as well. He's a husband, a father, and a follower of Jesus, and AJ joins us now. AJ, welcome back to Unpacking It. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. Excited.
Man, we're fired up, and I know you're out in LA now, so it's early, but you are with us, and we're excited about it. And I want to hear a little bit more about your story, because we talked to you back in 2019, and so we'll go back in just a little bit. But let's start presently. You ended up at USC from Boone to LA. So take me into this opportunity and how God kind of worked through this opportunity for you to end up at USC.
Yeah, I feel like it couldn't be 2 more different places than Boone, North Carolina, and Los Angeles, California. But it's been good. So as we all know, like the coaching carousel for college and the NFL is like that late December to January range. So late January, I found out I had an opportunity to come here to Southern Cal, just from connections I had made the previous year. Kind of stayed in touch with those guys, and Dan Lynn, Rob Ryan, Coach Riley, all those guys called me up. and it was kind of a no-brainer to come out here to Los Angeles.
That's awesome, man. So tell me about the first few months. You're just sort of getting used to the rhythm there and being a part of this new coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, things are always moving fast in that time period. But I mean, I would say the coaches here did a great job of helping me acclimate. The coaches' families did a good job of helping my family acclimate to the new surroundings and things like that. So it's been pretty smooth and a good transition.
And so as far as choosing USC, what made it appealing and just sort of their tradition and what they've been all about? How did that kind of resonate with you?
Yeah, I think the university sort of speaks for itself. I mean, in Southern Cal, I grew up liking Southern Cal football, grew up loving it. You got the Reggie Bushes, the Matt Liners. Like, it's so much history and tradition here. And I wanted to be a part of that. And then also it's about the people. Coach Raleigh's a great person. He also has some East Coast ties from his time at ECU. So we were able to relate on that a little bit. Coach Dan Lynn's been with the Ravens, the Texans, all these different places. And then Rob Ryan, everybody knows him. He's from a football family. So getting a chance to be a part of that and just help mold myself while also helping them along the way and help USC be what it can be.
Well, Rob Ryan's a big personality. What's it been like kind of hanging out with him?
It's been awesome, man. He, like you say, he's a big personality, loves the game of football, loves the people he works with. He's big on trust. He trusts me. I trust him. Like, he's just a great dude, a great person, good to my family. It's more than football for Rob, and you can tell.
And as far as the expectations at USC, I mean, this is a premier program, and hey, we're fellow Mountaineers, and we expect championships and success at App State and that kind of thing. But how has maybe even that experience at App sort of helped prepare you for high expectations and pressure that comes being a part of a program like USC?
Yeah, no, I think it's right on par. I think about going all the way back to 2014 as a freshman at App State and sort of the pressure that came with, like, starting early and everybody expecting to win right away, a new conference and all those kinds of things. Well, it's kind of the same thing at SC. Their first year last year was in the Big Ten, trading conferences, moving up, as you would say. So, I mean, the expectations are high and kind of built for it. I feel like I'm built for it. This staff is built for it. So we're excited.
All right. And so part of being a coach is moving around, and your family is a part of that as well. So how has the transition been? You've been there for a few months now for your wife and son.
It's been really good. I actually talked to my wife. I try to check in with her probably once a month. And I just say, hey, babe, how are you doing? Are we good still? Like, you're still enjoying it here and things like that? And she's at the point where she never wants to leave.
Oh, wow.
She works from home. So there's like endless opportunities and things in her field. So she's excited about it. My son, he loves it. I mean, it's obviously different than Boone. He has something different we can do every weekend now instead of maybe one or two things back at App.
Ah, that's cool. Well, hey, there's a lot to do in Boone, but it's not LA. It's not LA, that's for sure. Well, cool. So I'm excited for your new opportunity, and actually I want to kind of go back to even some of the steps that have led to this new season of life for you. And so you played at App State, you end up being able to get some opportunities in the NFL. Last time we talked to you, you had just won a Super Bowl with New England. And so then kind of after that, sort of the playing days, how did things sort of wrap up? How do you look back at your time being a part of the NFL?
Yeah, no. So after the Super Bowl, obviously everything was awesome. Went back to sort of training and everything for that next year. Played through that next year, bounced around a couple teams, and just kind of wanted to go ahead and transition out of playing into coaching or scouting or whatever that may be. So that opportunity came late December, early January with Scott Satterfield, who was my head coach at App State. He was at Louisville at the time. Him and Brian Brown, they gave me an opportunity, which I'm super thankful for, to help me start my professional career. I did that for about 11 to 12 months. And that's around that time I found out that my wife was pregnant. So being a GA at the University of Louisville, that doesn't come with a ton of resources to help build a family. And then the opportunity for scouting came up, and I took it and ran with it.
Well, so that's an interesting sort of jump there. So GA with Louisville to then being a scout with the Patriots. So how did that opportunity come about, and what was that experience like? 2 years being a scout with New England?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's about the people. So as a player, I knew there was a chance that my career in New England specifically wouldn't be super long. We just came off a Super Bowl. The roster was loaded going again to that next year. So I talked to Coach Belichick, some people in the front office about just the opportunity to come back in some capacity. And coaching spots were not available at the time as I was transitioning out of Louisville, but scouting positions were. So I took a leap of faith on that and jumped in the scout and head first, and they took me under their wing, and it was great.
What did you kind of learn from that experience? And did you realize, okay, this isn't necessarily what I want to do long term, but what did you kind of glean from that?
Yeah, yeah, no, I love the thought of it long term. For one, it's just that coaching kind of took my heart a little bit, but I guess what I learned transitioning out of sort of the playing world, the GA world, to being a scout with the Patriots was just the whole, I guess you say the makeup of the working world in the NFL, and then in New England specifically was just a little bit different. People moved a little different. People talked a little bit different, but it helped sort of mold me to be the best. I guess I don't know how you say this, non-athlete, working full-time person I could be.
No, that's cool. And so along those lines as well, what do you love about college football? That this is kind of the path that you've now taken.
Yeah, I would say the relationships with the players is first and foremost. Obviously, there's relationships in the NFL, but you're around those guys so much less of time. Maybe we're talking 7 or 8 months out of the year, whereas it's a full time job in college football all the time. You're building relationships with your current guys. You're building relationships with recruits of this year's class, the next year's class, especially at a place like SC. It never ends. Recruiting never ends. So you're building a ton of relationships, and I like that part of it.
All right, so we got to compare sort of where you're at now and where college football is at now with all the changes that have happened rapidly over the last couple of years. You're now in the middle of it all compared to when you were playing, when you were coming in, and not that you're that old of a guy. You played back in 2014 to 2017, but things have changed drastically since then. What have you made of all the changes, and how are you adapting to those changes?
Yeah, I always joke with my wife. I kind of wish I was around during NIL period. I probably wouldn't have got nothing from it, but I kind of wish I was around then. But no, the game has just changed so much. Um, but the players to me have remained the same, if that makes sense. You still see sort of that hunger and drive out of the ones that want to be great, and they don't let, I guess, the monetary things change as the game has kind of changed for them.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. I think for fans to hear that, because I think that's part of our concern, especially college football loyalists or traditionalists thinking, money's gonna ruin things and all that, even though it's always played a role without a doubt. But to hear that, hey, the athletes are the same. They still want to play. They want to get better. They want to win. That's good to hear. So all right. So as far as going from, all right, you were a scout with New England, and then you ended up back at your alma mater as an assistant coach for a couple of years. What did you learn during that time? How critical was that part of the journey in continuing to prepare you to take the next step?
Well, no, I thought it was awesome. So Sean Clark and Scott Sloan were the head coach and defense coordinator there at App State, and they gave me my first full-time opportunity as a coach on the field. And it was awesome, man. I learned a lot just from the hard work, the dedication, all those things that it took to build a successful program, which we did our first year. Was able to go win a bowl game, win 9 games. It was awesome. But again, just the early stages of work life and growing and developing in those different areas helped me a lot.
That's neat. All right, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that it sets you up and excited for where you're at on the journey, and not only in the football side of things, but you're also on this journey of being a dad and husband, and so I've got a almost 6, almost 4-year-old, 2 daughters. You've got a 4-year-old son. How has the dad life been for you, and balancing, building a coaching career, but also wanting to be around for your son? How has that been for you?
It's been amazing, man. I really do feel like you can have both things at the same time. Be a great dad, be great in your career. Particularly moving out to LA, I think was good for him because every decision I make comes down to my wife and son at the end of the day. It's not just my decision, but he's around just a bunch of different types of people. He's exposed to so many different types of sports and different cultures and things like that. And that was important to me. And for him to get that opportunity out here has been amazing. And like I told you before we got on here, I mean, there's more off time and things like that now for me to help mold him a little bit.
That's neat. And in light of your relationship with your own dad, which last time we talked about how he's been a pastor and you had a great relationship with him growing up. How has his role helped you be prepared to be the dad that you are now to your 4-year-old son?
Yeah, I think in a way, believing and seeing, and he showed me the way that things should be from, and this is a little bit deeper, but the way he treated my mom, my sisters, and things like that. I didn't have any brothers. I had 3 sisters, and I saw the way he treated them and took care of them. And I just wanted to do that tenfold for my family.
Ah, that's powerful. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's catch up on the faith journey as well. And I imagine over the last few years, God has been working in your life, and would love to hear maybe just some kind of key moments or lessons learned where you really feel like you're experiencing some growth and God's been maybe revealing some new things to you and helping you become more like him.
Yeah. Yep. If I can give you one event, I think back to December, January. I think that was like the biggest of this year, the biggest pivot in my career and faith moment. Like you said, we came back to App State, me, my wife, and my son, just with the chance to come back sort of home. My wife was 2 hours away. I'm a 6-hour drive away from home. So it was very comfortable to us. We knew a lot of people. People knew us. We felt the love around the program and had community there. But we also felt like it would be a good time to sort of step out on faith and move away out here to Los Angeles, where we still have our own small family and community. But now we have to build that beyond just our household and sort of lean on the people in Los Angeles area and continue to grow as a family and develop as a family. That was a big step for us, sort of, I guess, leave home and sort of come out here and on our own.
Man, step out of the comfort zone. That's
sure.
That's big. So what has that process been like as far as finding community, finding a local church, engaging with other believers? How has that been for you?
It's been amazing, man. I joke with my wife again, like just so different out here. Our church that we found is in Manhattan Beach, which is like a beautiful place, obviously, but just a different sort of community, different types of people, but we're all worshiping the same person. And that was big for us. We found a church our first week out here and got acclimated into the community, into certain programs within the church, and they just made it feel like home a little bit for us.
Oh, that's huge. I love it. That's great to hear. And man, it sure helps to get plugged in right away to a new area. That's huge. Well, I'm looking at your social media, noticing that, man, you're bold about your faith and love sharing verses on your Twitter to encourage people. And so I wanted to unpack just a few different verses, and you can share some thoughts, and maybe I'll add some as well. These are just some verses that you kind of have posted within the last month or so. But this one, 1 Peter 5, verse 6. So humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and at the right time, he will lift you up in honor. And so I'm curious what you've learned about humility, being at the height of professional sports in the NFL, and being around Superbowl winners, and being at key college football programs, and most importantly, in just sort of light of who God is. What have you learned about humility?
Humility. Well, I feel like, for one, like being humble these days is sort of hard to come by, if that makes sense. And that's not like a shot at anything or anybody. So in my mind and in my household, and for me, I want to be humble. I want to raise humble kids. I want my wife to be humble and just sort of thankful and grateful for the things that we have, but also feel like we don't have to go out of who we are to get to where we want to be.
That's good. And Yeah, I think the key part of that for me too is under the mighty power of God. And so I think we can find humility when we remind ourselves who the powerful one is and whose authority are we under. I'm not in charge. I'm not the most powerful. Like it's just that reminder. And so that's where the humble attitude comes from, is having that proper perspective of who God is. All right, so you also you posted some pictures of you coaching, and then you used the verse Colossians 3:23, work willingly at whatever you do as though you are working for the Lord rather than for people. So what does that verse mean to you?
Ultimately, to me, in my mind, at least, I work hard. I work pretty hard, and you have to have something else to lean on for validation, rather other than people, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
and people that you're around, staff that you're around. So I lean on God. I lean on His opinion, His thoughts. I try to get validated through God, through my work, and I feel like that helps. That just helps me day to day and helps me reach my goals. It's just bringing it all back to Him and knowing that He put me in this position. He'll get me through this position, and He'll get me to different heights.
Amen. And yeah, I think this concept of hard work it's a wonderful thing. Like we want to work hard for the Lord. And so if we're working hard just for, all right, the approval of others, or I got to get attention, or I got to make more money, or what, if that's the motivation to work hard, then we're off alignment. But if we're aligned with the Lord and saying, Lord, I'm working for you, for your glory, to point people to you. So if that's our mentality, then yeah, we want to be at our very best. We want to give all we got to whatever we're doing, whatever God has called us to do, whatever opportunities He's presented us. Man, we do it for Him, and we work willingly at that. So that's an important verse, really, daily, weekly as we work. It's to have the right mindset on that. So I don't know if you have any other thoughts, but that's an important verse for sure. Colossians 3:23. All right, the other one, Philippians 4:6-7. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything that we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live. And so how has, living with peace by trusting God, empowered you, and how have you experienced that peace?
I feel like there's so much to unpack in that one, just as you was reading it, man. It's deep. But just to start, like, don't worry about anything. That's like, to me, any decision, any problem that comes up, God's already been there. God has it in His hands. All He wants you to do is to pray about it, believe in Him, trust Him, and He'll fix and help any situation that you could be in. And to me, it's as simple as that.
It's good. And I think, go ahead.
No. And then you said surpass all understanding. Like, our minds, our human minds, to me, you can't even wrap around the things that God can do. Obviously, He's there before you get there. He's 1,000 steps ahead. Don't try to outrun Him. He'll be there. Just pray about it. Don't worry about it, and He'll lead you the right way.
That's right. And I love this too. Tell God what you need. And to your point, it's like, just pray. Bring it before the Lord. Bring our concerns, our needs, our desires, to say, all right, God, here's what I'm desiring. Is this aligned with you or not? But here's what I need, and bringing that to Him, and then doing so with gratitude, thanking Him for all He has done. And so it's coming at it with coming before Him with humility, but also appreciation for all He's already done, especially what He's done through Christ. And so we rest in that, and then we go, Lord, I trust you. Here's what I need. Here's what's threatening to cause me to worry. Here's what's I'm wrestling with today. But I desire your peace. I desire to experience your peace, which exceeds anything we can understand, which surpasses all understanding, as other translations say. And then, it wraps up, His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live. And so His peace guards us from getting trapped in the worries of life and all that can sort of take us down, negative paths and derail us.
Yeah, and I'll try to run with that one a little bit. Just before I got here, there was the LA fires and things going on.
Yeah.
And that stuff, that kind of, that factors into your decisions for example. And then as of late, the protests and things going on, all those things factor into your decisions. But at the end of the day, like you said, that peace that surpasses all understanding, that's where I always lean back to. Like, this is all God. God has a plan for it, and he's in the middle.
Amen. Absolutely. So I hope those verses today are encouraging, and really all three of those verses kind of worth memorizing and reflecting on regularly. So good stuff, sharing those on social media, which can be encouraging to people. So as far as your philosophy of coaching and even how you incorporate your faith into being a coach, what is your approach and the type of coach that you are?
Yeah, I would say my approach is just like love for the game. I feel like that'll get you through so many different things as a player, for one, and even as a coach at times. And to me, it's always not a slippery slope, but it's always something to think about when you bring your faith into the football world, especially into a smaller confines like a position room or something like that. But everybody has something that they naturally lean on in a faith aspect. And if I could help them, whether that be with a tweet of a verse or an Instagram post of a verse a day, that'll get those guys to understand who I am and know that those who are believers can always come to me whenever they need to.
Amen. That's great. And what about over the years too, just your time in football, how important have team Bible studies been and just spending time, in the Word with other guys you're either playing with or coaching with?
No, that's been huge because that's a community in itself, I guess you would say. So everywhere I've been, from the Cardinals to the Patriots to App State, like there was always a Bible study or Bible community that we all got together and sort of at times just kind of exchange verses or how we were feeling in that moment. Um, and that helped a lot. That feeling of community, that sense of community within a big team is always nice to have, because there's always people within that group that you can talk to about any situation, and they can be there for you.
That's great. Absolutely. All right, so you spent time in New England with Bill Belichick, and now, shockingly, he's in college football. He's at UNC. What do you make of that decision, and what are sort of your insights or expectations into what you think will happen there as he takes over that program?
I think that's awesome for him. I really do think it's awesome, and I think he'll do well. It's funny that you asked that, because back in December, as the possible transition at App State was happening, I actually texted him, talked to him a few times about the possibilities at North Carolina. Things just didn't add up and work out, but I told him that I was happy for him. Many blessings to him, and I hope that he does really well, which I think he will.
That's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating. It's been quite the story so far. And then of course at App State, new coaching staff and sort of a new era with the Mountaineers. What are your kind of thoughts and expectations on App State?
Yeah, my thoughts and expectations. I don't know if those really matter, but I would say for the fans at least, it's going to be to win, and I hope that they can do that. I love that program, and I love everything it stands for. I just really want to see them do well. I really do. I want to see them get back to the top of the mountain and win some games. No pun intended.
That's right. We got to get back there. Absolutely. No, I'm encouraged and excited, and I thought Coach Clark was awesome, and I wish him the best, and sad that it sort of had to end that way, but excited for this new regime. So
yeah, no, Sean was awesome, man. One of the best head coaches I've been around. I feel like I've been around a good bit, but I think they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so you got a couple weeks off here coming up before summer training camp and all that gets going. Any plans? What's going on with you and the family?
Yeah, ton of plans, man. I'm excited about it. Finally get some family time after these 6 months of sort of just 24/7 work. We'll explore California a little bit. Outside of Los Angeles, we'll try to hit like San Diego. Never been there. Palm Springs, San Francisco, just sort of everything sort of local. And then we'll get a week back in North Carolina just because we need to.
Absolutely. That's great. And you still have a place in Boone, so you get to go back to Boone.
Yeah, exactly. We still got a house in Boone. We'll drive by, check on that, and see how it is.
That's excellent. So growing up, what teams did you root for? And have you adopted any of the LA sports teams out there?
Yeah. So growing up, everybody Georgia sports was me because I'm from Georgia originally. The Braves, the Falcons. Braves won a championship a few years ago. Excited about that. Falcons continue to disappoint, but I sort of adopted the Patriots because that's a team I've enjoyed. I've spent 4 or 5 years up there in the Northeast, so I really enjoy the Patriots in the NFL. And I'll always be a Braves fan.
Nice.
Love the Dodgers. I love that they're here, but I'm a Braves fan. There's nothing that can change that.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So I'm a Lakers fan, so that's why I was curious if you were jumping on the Lakers.
That was my basketball team growing up. I was a big Kobe fan.
Okay.
I was more of a Kobe fan than I guess you say Lakers fan.
Yeah, I was too. So I started more so as a Kobe fan, but then I stuck with it. The Hornets left when I was in high school, and so I was sort of a free agent sports fan for NBA, and then I jumped on the Lakers bandwagon. It's been a pretty good ride, but that's cool. You get to be out there. Maybe you'll get over to a Lakers or Dodgers game at some point, but
for sure,
that's fun. Well, AJ, man, great to catch up with you, and excited for your new opportunity at USC as you step into this first season. And so I'll be keeping an eye on the team and following along, and maybe even cheering for a little USC. So that's gonna be fun. So thanks so much for being a part of the show today.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Fight on.
Absolutely. There's AJ Howard joining us here on the Unpacking It podcast, and that was awesome. Glad we finally caught up with AJ and got him back on the show. Thanks to everybody for listening today. Be sure to check out thesportsdevotional.com. Get a copy of the new sports devotional book. I hope that will encourage you this summer. For AJ, I'm Bryce. I'm a sports fan who follows Jesus. I believe in the good news that he died on the cross for my sin. He was resurrected, and through faith, I've been saved by his grace. I hope that is true for you as well, and I hope you'll join me as we live life as sports fans who follow Jesus together. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time, right here on the Unpacking It podcast.